Morning, y'all. How are you all doing this morning? I'm a little bit jet lagged, feeling tired. The winter has come, it's a little bit cool outside, and I'm going to continue today what I started before I went away, a few kind of what people call fundamental videos. We did ball position, aim. I'm going to talk golf grip today, because it's probably one of the oldest, most traditional golf videos, stroke tip things you can do is talk about grip. So let's give you my take on golf grip, how I would work with people on their golf grip if I'd change it, what changes, what difference it makes to different people. Because if you look closely on things like the PGA Tour, where's my thingy? It's just there. You'll notice that not everyone grips it the same. So maybe the conversation needs to be a little bigger than you need to grip it like this. Let's show you what I mean. Golf grip. Let's talk a little bit about some of the just basic ideas of what you're trying to do with your hands. So let's talk about some neutral grip ideas to kick us off. So you're getting your hands on the club in a way that helps you achieve the goal. This is what I used to say to brand new golfers. You've got to hold it at this end in a way that gives you some kind of control of understanding of the twists and turns you put into this end that encourage you to deliver a loft. That's going to help send the ball up in the air, and angles of the face, and in turn the path to try and get that projectile pushing off in a direction that you want it to go. It's all you're trying to achieve with the grip. So when I got a brand new golfer, we would have variations on hold, but it would be within these parameters I would want them to hold the club. Biggest key, everyone gets this wrong at the start, or 99% of people. We need the club here through your left hand. Look where that is, almost base of the fingers, base of the palm, not there. That's the common one. That's the one we got to get rid of. Let's get that club in that lower part of that palm. Gives you a much more stronger hold of the club. And when I mean stronger, I mean not strong as in holding tight or soft, and not strong as in putting twists and turns into the club. I mean it gives you a hold of the club. It gives you more chance of using your wrists in a more powerful, stronger way to set the club, to allow you to deliver the club and control that face. Now when you wrap this hand over, you're then going to see when you look down at this club, so if I'm in gaming position looking down, I'm seeing 2 to 3 knuckles, and that might vary if you've got a glove on or not. So I would get my students to take their glove off at the start, 3 knuckles on the left hand, 2.5 to 3 is good. Thumb down the right of centre and not too extended, just squeeze it back up towards the hand. I used to like to get people to do. Right hand, don't mind if you interlock, overlap, or even baseball. I would go for interlock at the start with golfers, but with interlock, let's not get too jammed in here. I don't like this. So they don't need to be completely jammed up together. If you look at my interlocking grip, there's some separation at the bottom, because this allows me to get the right hand more on top of the club, so it's not too far under or too far over. Checkpoints with right hand, I would want the feel for students, first finger and thumb almost pinching together, so not a grip, a claw grip, giving you that kind of shape. You create a V with your thumb and first finger. That V is going to point somewhere between right shoulder and chin. So if you follow this V up, it's going to point somewhere in this area. Now if you do this hold with golfers, new golfers, or even accomplished ones, and they're in this, definitely this hold in their left hand, or with their right-handed golfer, so their lead hand, the top hand, I don't care, like I say, overlapping, interlocking, as long as the right hand's got some security on that club and is not too far or too far under, so too far over, too far under. We'll talk about the ramifications of that as we go on in the video. I'd want a grip pressure that allows them to move their arms quite freely. So if you want to talk grip pressure, you want to be able to feel that you could just draw shapes with the club if you wanted to, almost like a sparkler. So I've got hold of the club, but there's also movement, but it's not coming out of my hand. And also there'll be variations in the sense that if you put on 2 knuckles and that feels comfortable and we get desired deliveries, that's great. If you see 3.5 or 3 and we get desired deliveries, then that's fine as well. It's when the delivery starts going off through grip, which we'll come to, that we need to then start thinking about maybe reassessing what you think is comfortable compared to what might be the greater good. But there's your basics, if you like, on how to hold it. So let's talk about some variations on a theme. Let's go strong grip to kick us off. So what is known as a strong grip? So strong grip would be seeing, say, 4 knuckles on the left hand and right right hand underneath the club. So if you like, everything is moved too far to as you look down to the right of the club. So everything's gone more round this side of the club in relationship to the face. Now, if you're a strong gripper, and let's just change the data here, so we've got a strong grip data set. There's a few things that can happen. So I'm going to go strong grip to start and hit a couple of shots. And I'm just kind of swinging this. I'm not trying to save. I'm just going to let the grip do what it does. My iPad resets quicker than the SIM. So the strong grip has made me get those pink dots going left. So you can see them both here going left compared to my blue dots, which is my normal neutral grip where it's straight to a... Oh, what's that one doing there? Bit of a shank ball. Now it only captured face data on one of those, but you can see the dynamic loft has come down 25 degrees compared to my dynamic loft with mine when I'm hitting normal is around 30, 29. So that's a strong grip, hands all round to the right, making the face close to a path. Not going massively left because things starts changing as I just try and hit the ball. It just kind of adjusts to try and find target a little bit, but you can see the loft just falls off. So I'm going to do another strong grip now, 4 knuckles, right hand underneath, but I'm really going to try and hit target, so I'm going to fight it. It's pretty good for target. Let's hit one more. Again, the iPad resets quicker than the SIM. That felt pretty straight as well. So if you look at the highlighted one, dynamic loft is 26 degrees. So we've gone 26 degrees on dynamic loft. So strong grip is definitely taking that loft away from me. And then you can now see that the pink dots, we've got 2 more going more at the target and 1 slightly right. So with the strong grip, I'm able to have one where the face is too open to the path and one where the face is too close to the path. So depending on what kind of golfer you are, you're gonna override what the grip does. But what you can't override, what you can't fix more times out of kind of more times than not, is that you can't get away from the sacrificing of loft. And think about what that might mean for you. So you could be a strong grip straight baller, a strong grip fader, and a strong grip puller, overdrawer, or even blocker. You can hit any shot from this grip, the same you can from the neutral grip. But the loft is going, the loft is being taken away. So where might the troubles come from this grip? What happens when this one comes into play? If you want to stay using your strong grip because you feel like it's good for your golf, you might have to be very careful what loft driver you go for, which will bring fitting into the forefront massively for you. Also, what I tend to find the pattern with strong grippers is that when you start taking loft off, they start complaining. So they go to a range and hit balls with a 7-iron and they think it's all fine, and they go to the driver and they spray it a bit, and then on the course that's showing up as massive sprays because often people don't read fairways on the fairways or on the course to the range quite the same way, unfortunately, because you get another go, you tend to forget the other ones. And then they book in a lesson because they need this one to get better. So the big question when you come into changing your grip is what sacrifices might be made compared to what gains might be gained. So if you hit target every time with mid-irons with a strong grip, but then you struggle with a driver, if you then go to a neutral grip, you might have to think of 2 skill sets changing. So you might improve your driver, but make your irons worse. And this is the biggest mistake I see people make with grip changes, where videos, I think, on perfect grips and those kind of things, on how to hold it correctly, you've got to be really careful with. Because it's so many factors. If you go and move a grip, there's so many moving parts that are going to change. There's so many other aspects that are going to move, from your pitching to your mid-irons to your long irons to your driving. Which ones are you improving? That's great, but then if you're just falling back on others, that isn't going to help you. That's where launch monitors come into their own, because you can quantify the changes with all different lofts if you measure. And also things like fitting comes into their own as well. Let me just do the test as well with a weak grip to show you what that does to loft. So let's just change this weak, and we'll change the colour over. We'll go green. So what's a weak grip? Not seeing enough knuckles now, so only seeing 1 knuckle as I look down. Right hand maybe too far over. So everything on the club now too far to the left as you look down. Let me hit a couple of shots where I just hit it. Not particularly going to try and save anything, but I am still going to try and hit an okay-ish shot. That's 2 with my weak grip. I'll hit 2 more, we'll show you the numbers in a second, where I try and actually really hit target, save it, but still use that weak grip. Because at the end of the day, it's all matchups. When I move my grip around, I'm quite aware of the movements I need to make to try and counteract face the path issues I might have from those grips, which is why I can still hit target. But I won't be able to get away from the loft. It goes up plus 30 degrees now, 32 degrees. So even though I can control face the path, so I've got one at 3 open to path, one at 7 open to path. So they're going right, they're the ones where I just kind of swung at the start. The last two face the paths at 1.8 and 3 point something. I'm able to save it a little bit more, but I can't fix the loft. The loft will just shoot up. So you can see now the green ones losing short right and then finding a few on target. So think about what this means for you. If you are playing with a grip that you know has big twists in it, that's fine, there are world-class players who do. If you can't manage those twists, then there's questions on what you should do to fix your grip there. Also, if you can't manage the loft that you're fighting with that grip, so less loft or more loft, depending on which side you are of neutral, that's where the holes will show when you've got a whole bag full of different lofts and you're going to hit different flighted shots. So when you start taking loft off, the strong grip, you might struggle in that top end part of the bag where the loft's coming off. You might need to add loft, or then you think about changing your grip. And then if you're using a weak grip, you might find that you lose high bombs to the right. You kind of might find that your wedge play might be weaker, but not always. But clubs with loft, you might just pop them up in the air. You might not be able to hit punch shots as well. Those kind of things. And often again, when you take loft off, anything where you take loft off, D-plane runs the game and it makes golf just harder. So if you've got twists that you're fighting, then maybe it's a grip change time. So look, this isn't a video saying that you should all grip naturally, or neutrally I should say, not at all. But it is something where I think people like to just plough on with quite poor grips, and as I teach students, I've done over the years, I can have massive changes in their swing when we look at these patterns with loft and delivery and get them really focused in on hitting some better shots. The biggest problem is that they fight grips. Why do people really struggle and fight grips? I'm gonna have to head home, but because I'm running out of time, we'll continue this at home. Are you a golf grip fighter? There's loads of you out there. Let's talk about why you might struggle and fight with your grip. Right, why is someone, or why would someone fight changing the grip so much? It can often show the personality of the student, their reluctance to want to change. And I don't mean you have to change, because some people, you know, you can play good golf with variations on a grip. Let's all agree with that. But when you show the kind of shots that that grip should show, so overdraws with a strong grip and then you complain about it, I think it shows the personality of the student to a certain extent, and then the challenges they might have learning. There's often with those students, and obviously there's some that just don't know they've got a strong grip, but the ones who know they've got a strong grip and say things like, oh, but I can't change, I've tried changing and I can't do it. I think, well, you can't not do anything. You can do whatever you want. It's about how much you want to work, how hard you want to work at it, because changing a grip undoubtedly feels maybe one of the hardest things to do. I always say to people, it's like if you eat your dinner with your fork in your left hand, knife in your right, like most of us do. If I switch them over and tell you you're not allowed to switch them back, you don't starve to death. You learn how to do it differently. You just will adapt, and in 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 hours, 2 years, whatever it takes, you won't even remember that you had it the other way round particularly. The thing that's undoubted is that you can absolutely make massive changes for people by changing the way they hold it. You can transform their game. But I've said this before, and it still counts. Changing a grip is very often one part of a 2, 3, 4 part stage of changing, because of all the variables that you mix up. It's not as simple as sometimes people in their golf clubs or on the range, oh, change your grip, you'll hit that better. Very rarely the case works like that. You have to align all the moving parts for it to really work. Should we answer some of your questions? wobble. So I put it out the Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram already, at Crossfield Mark, I involved it in my story today. Let's see what questions you're asking about grip. So question from Andy, as a percentage, how many times would you find that the grip is the main issue for a person when giving a lesson? Good question. It's hard to say as a percentage, but there's a good percentage of people who definitely don't explore a change in a grip. And like I say, they hit the shot that grip asks them to hit. They know they've got the grip, and it's that like, oh, I can't, I've tried it and I can't do it. And that leads back to my other point, where it's because it's many other factors. You can't just change the grip and it fixes it. You've got to realign those other bits. As a percentage, God, that's hard. 27.5% as a guess. New book. What is this book?
It's about like...
Oh, it's from the author who came into your school. I found all of that. There she is. Right, next question. Is it normal to switch the grip into a strong right hand to avoid OBs when one's a fader? I wouldn't say it's normal. If it's functional, it's an option. I would be a little concerned moving your grip like that, but anything that makes it not get out of bounds and you can repeat it is a good thing. I would be more interested in working with you on getting that shot out of you without moving grips, because I do think that could lead kind of, it could inspire into like never really finish, like where does that end up, you know? You could just be, oh, those kind of things. Back out now. Dance classes. Can a strong grip take loft off? Yes, absolutely can. Watch this video, demonstrate that for you. Love that question, obviously relates to what I've already covered last one as well. I've been fighting a strong grip for years. Any ideas or thoughts of how to embrace it rather than constantly fight it? That's what he's asking. Little and often. Having the mentality to just break that habit, again like I was saying earlier, and little and often. Not hitting balls, picking a club up every day with the new grip, waggling it around 5 minutes, 10 times a day. That little and often will make you forget what the old felt like and what the new should feel like, and then they'll just start blending. The old will go, the new will blend in and become what you should be doing. Little and often. Right, taking her to dance and cooking tea and picking her back up and taking the older one to dance, picking her up. You get the drill. See you tomorrow.